second queen as well and just killing her off right now as we speak, and he only has about 4 overlords left so far. The spore crawlers are already in place, but the overlords are still way too far away from it. So another 2 overlords are just dying, and the Zerg player is in a lot of trouble right now. He's on 12 possible supply, so
there is
an
overlord
really
out right now, and there he is in the top right corner of the map, being the bastion of hope for his dead overlord friends. Good luck to you, kind sir. Duckload continuing to swing around with those phoenixes, trying
That's
to
not a bastion of hope. That's a traitor.
Yeah,
that's a real coward.
He abandoned his home. And now notice one thing that Duckload's doing that I love: picking off the drones that are on that gas geyser, because occasionally it's easy to miss some of those drones. Just looks like you have 3 in there, but you actually only have 2, or in this case just 1. Plus they're always on the outskirts, so Duckload's doing an amazing amount of damage. And hey, transitioning back into that classic Void Ray Colossus mix he loves.
Yeah, in the meantime the Zerg player is going for this overlord speed as well in order to save them from the attacking phoenixes, and of course trying to build a couple of drones. He threw down a Hydralisk then as well, and is just producing the first couple of anti-air units in his army mix in order to get a handle on those phoenixes. But right now he seems really in a lot of trouble, especially once again not paying attention to his overlord. Speed is through though, so right now he's able to save his overlords and trying to move them back, but the spore crawl is just not enough to fend off those phoenixes. 2 more Hydralisks are just joining the battle, and now White Ra finally has to retreat at least a little bit, but losing. Well, he's able to attack 2 Hydralisks as well, so that's pretty cool. He's picking off a lot of units in the main base of his opponent.
Yeah, gosh, White Ra playing really, really well. You know, Norof's early game timing, I think, was pretty strong. However, it's these unorthodox openings that it seems to have a little bit of weakness against, as we saw this Phoenix opening has just completely torn him apart. Well, it would have been safe against a lot of 4 warp gates or 3 warp gate expands, which is what you're usually anticipating as Zerg, but man, White Ra really gaining control of the game immediately.
At the moment he has 20 supply, harvester supply superior to his opponent, and White Ra is picking off more and more drones as we speak. But now he's in a little bit of he's a little bit under pressure with his phoenixes due to the amount of Hydralisks in the main base of the Zerg player. The expansion of White Ra though is running pretty smoothly. He has a lot of drones back there, and it's just going for a couple of Colossi, as Sean already mentioned, as well as another Nexus.
Wow, that's a pretty clever play by White Ra. I mean, really, he's seen, a little bit of lag there. He's seen his opponent is kind of pinned back. I mean, has basically, only really Hydralisks and a couple of other units to defend, and without a really good creep spread, even with these short distances, it's not a particularly large threat at that expo, and White Ra lining up that timing with his expansion nicely with the Colossus, so it's very, very easily defendable. And as White Ra just continues to build up a bigger army, I mean, Norof is getting increasingly under pressure to do something to his opponent, just now taking the gold, but still he needs to do some direct damage to White Ra.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think the trader died. I think the trader died. At least he's missing, and the phoenixes are just flying across the map, so the trader might have died as well. Doesn't pay off to abandon your allies.
That's true, that one single overlord, the only overlord that lived through the Phoenix onslaught at the outset of the game, he's probably dead as well, and entire generations of overlords wiped off the map. Those look like that Void Ray count is continuing to get high, and you know, Void Rays are not so good in small numbers, but once they get like huge numbers, it's you can't really lose. And it does seem to be the case that, you know, White Ra already getting to some pretty critical numbers. He already has 5 Void Rays, going to be able to get at least 8 before he moves out for another big attack.
And White Ra is actually ahead with 50 supply right now. I mean, the Zerg player is trying to get an expansion at the rich mineral fields and adding a couple of drones as well in his main base. Right now just producing 11 drones, going for the +1 attack upgrade as well as the range upgrade for his Hydralisks, and adding a Spire, but the army of White Ra is just so superior. I mean, he has 20 harvests, he's 20 harvests superior to his opponent as well, so we have to take that into consideration as well, but still his army is just way bigger than the one of Norof.
Yeah, look at White Ra starting to dance forward. A fungal growth is always very good against this composition because of the fact that it's almost always at a pinpoint in space. And you look at this, all these units moving around, picking off these creep tumors, but still don't take up a lot of room, so fungal growths can be very effective, but you just don't have time to do that in Norof's position. He needs to hope to get out a lot of Corruptors fast, but getting supply blocked right now. He's only building 1 Corruptor and 4 Overlords.
Yeah, at the moment he's on 102 supply versus 160 And White Ra just adding more and more gateways. He's adding 4 more gateways as we speak and is actually researching the armor upgrade for his units as well after the +1 attack upgrade has finished, adding more and more Colossus. And, well...
Noraf tried to do a little bit of attacking, but as you see with that blue glow, Void Rays are pretty good against small numbers of anything. Now that Noraf is finally unsupply blocked, he needs to begin jamming out a lot of Corruptors. 6 coming out right now, but White Ra darting through the center of the map is going to be very, very happy to see that he has a...
And he's going for Corruptors, but he can't actually counter that army with Corruptors. You need tons of Mutalisks for that, because those Corruptors just die to this amount of Void Rays within seconds. There's no way he can beat this army of White Ra right now. I mean, he has... Is that 1 Corruptor so far? Only 1?
He has a Corruptor. He's going to be the trainer of the 6 trainee Corruptors that are about to pop out. And you know, I don't really mind Corruptors too much against this as long as you have the lead that you normally have as Zerg. Most of the time Zerg is out expanding the Protoss. Protoss is hoping to have a more muscular army against a bigger Zerg army, but White Ra has every single possible advantage. There's the Guardian Shield coming down, Stalkers swarming in, and oh gosh, poor Noraf.
White Ra is actually maxed out right now. He's on 190 supply versus 120, and immediately all those Void Rays are attacking the anti-air units. There's no way the North is actually going to win this. He's just dropping supply right now, and he's on 60, he's on 50 supply. That's a third of White Ra's army.
And there's a good game from Noraf. I mean, poor Noraf, who really honestly, after that harassment at the start of the game, played pretty well, did a good recovery. Before the harass, it was a good opening, very solid timings. But that Phoenix harass just absolutely bludgeoned Noraf. It was quite violent to watch happen live. And poor Noraf really got the chance to be another example of why White Ra is just so unstoppably good nowadays.
And I will just have a look for another game. So that's actually pretty first. I have no idea if White Ra has to wait for his next opponent or if we have a second game coming up with the Protoss player.
We're going to take a little look at the grid to see what's going to be going down. And you know, what's one thing that I love about White Ra's style that seems almost trivial, but I think is going to be the future of Protoss play. Most Protosses are awful with Chrono Boost. Like most of them, you know, have, oh, I'm going to do 5 Chrono Boost at the start of the game, maybe Chrono Boost my Warp Gate, and then never use Chrono Boost ever again no matter what. They kind of completely forget, and then at one point in the game they go, oh yeah, I guess I'm maxed on energy on 15 Nexuses, let me just Chrono Boost all my Warp Gates, whatever. But with White Ra's build, you have 2 structures where you're obviously Chrono Boosting all the time. The Robotics Facility building the Colossus, and the Stargate building the Void Ray, and occasionally the Forge building an upgrade, or you know, the Robotics Facility or the Robotics Support Bay upgrading the range. There's obvious targets to spend the Chrono Boost on, and I was spending a lot of time clicking on White Ra's Nexuses to see if he was actually constantly low, and he really was. Almost never had energy, and as a result, I really think that helped him quite a bit. I mean, he had 3 Warp Gates, and then the Robo and the Stargate for so long, but still he was using so many Chrono Boosts that he ended up having a lot of extra units.